Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Was True Red Dragon Emperor Part 3, Chapter 15. After a month Issei was at school in the morning doing his homework with Kanu. Kanu spoke, "Can't wait after school." Issei knew what she meant, but he was also dealing his hormones not to ravage her in that instant. No human or supernatural had that kind of energy at age of 7. Every morning Issei before he go to school, he have his routine with Yasaka and Kanu to calm himself down. His two wives were happy to pleasure him with his morning wood. Issei spoke to Kanu. "I'll give you pleasure when are done with school. You and your mom are hot. Even now I'm having trouble holding myself." Plus, Kanu had a red face with hard eyes wanting to hear more. Then they were interrupted by their teacher. The teacher spoke, "Alright class. We have a new student." The whole class was quiet waiting for teacher to speak. The teacher continued speaking, "Alright, she is from a far town down in Japan. Please welcome her." Then the new girl enters the class with the school uniform. Her skin was light tan, light black hair that reaches her back. She also had light black eyes. She had heart necklace on her neck. She spoke with sweet tone, "Hello. My name is Celia. Please take care of me." Then she bowed her head to the class. The whole class started to be all sweet to her. As the boys were like looking at their first crush. Issei felt different. He sensed that she wasn't human. She was like similar to a devil energy, but she wasn't a devil. Kanu had her eyes on Celia with a death glare. Celia had her eyes on Kunu like she knew about her species. The teacher spoke, "Alright Celia, sit in front of Issei Haidu." The teacher pointed an empty desk in front of Issei. Celia followed her teacher instructions. After Celia sat she turned to Issei and spoke, "Hey, I'm Celia. You're Issei. Nice to meet you." As she gave a sweet smile. "Same here. Let's hope to get along." Issei spoke. Kanu had jealously in her eyes that another girl was approaching her husband without her consent. Celia had her eyes bit shadowed and spoke to herself while taking a look at Issei. Is strange, he has a scent of girl next to him. His body is well built, that is not normal." Then her inner self got shocked and set her mind, "No way. I can't sense his virginity. Did he actually lost it, but how? Also I can sense his lust, the girl next to him. That not did he also have another scent, similar scent to the girl. What is he? Is he even Hunan?" Celia had turned away and began to wonder how her classmate lost his V card. She had several questions for Issei. She didn't want to be nosy because it could be sensitive subject for Issei. Kunu was looking her husband. Issei had questionable look. She knew that Issei was curious, but she let him figure it out as she was curious too. As the day went on, Kunu and Issei were eating lunch together. Issei asked his wife, "Hey, the new girl isn't a devil some way similar? Do you know?" "Well, I don't know either, we'll find out soon. I'll tell mom about it, maybe she knows." Celia was carefully watching Issei and Kunu. She was figure out why they are close. The more she thinks, more difficult to understand. After a few hours Issei and Kunu were outside having a French kiss to ease their lust. Celia was searching for them but never found them because she was new to school. Issei spoke while kissing Kunu sitting on his lap, "Damn bae. You are really into this." Kunu spoke giggling, "Well, I feel mouth drooling just thinking about you." Issei didn't mind, in fact he really liked how she turned into. Then Issei placed his hand on Kunu's thighs. Kunu began to squirm and she began move her hips Issei on pelvis. They were trying hard not to have their session right now. As Issei was enjoying the moment he felt a faint whisper in his ears. "I'm proud of you, my son." Issei eyed widened and began to look around, but no one was with him but Kunu. He smiled that he least hear his father ghost. He made him proud in the afterlife. Near them at Issei's father ghost looking at his son with a smile. "Become a harem king. Be ready to claim your title. Make your ancestors proud." 5. But that he disappeared in the air like never existed. Issei felt comfort in long time since his father death. He'll be a dragon that will change for the better. After recess Issei and Kunu were back in school, but they had eyes on Celia. After school they were leaving together to their homes. Issei spoke, "Can't wait for the afternoon." Kunu felt excited, making her body get hot. Kunu spoke, "Yes, see you later honey." But that they went to their separate ways. In the distance it be seen a woman standing on top the building with bat wings with small horns on her head, also with a pointed tail with a heart shape. She spoke, "Time for some new prey. I hope my daughter can learn something. Well, time to feast." But that she flew in the sky waiting for the nightfall, then start her hunt. The couple weeks passed. Issei was at school again but was different today. He was concentrated in school. His parents and other kids' parents were there too. He wasn't going get any type of suspension that he was lusting for Kunu or Yasaka. But more importantly the mother of Celia was there. Yasaka had her eyes on her like ready to attack. More like ready to kill her on the spot. Issei's parents were there watching Issei behavior. Issei's stepfather had his eyes on Yasaka. Issei didn't like any man looking at his wife, much less his stepfather. His stepfather saw Issei glare and he back off thinking that Issei was warning him to not to cheat on his mother or he'll pay dearly. On issei mind was back off of my wife, flirt with her you'll pay. There tensions in the classroom that teacher watched the three families. How if one made a move there will be hell. The teacher continued the class. 1. After class the students went to lunch as the parents stayed to the teachers or went with their children. Yusaka went with Kunu. As Celia and her mother went behind them. As for issei parents they stayed talking to the teacher. Issei was in the cafeteria getting lunch with Kunu. After getting their lunch they sat down together and Yusaka sat next to issei. Normally the parent sits next their child, but Yusaka was like sitting next to a random kid. Celia and her mother was sitting all the across the cafeteria. Celia's mother was watching them with curious eyes. Celia's mother asked, "Hey Celia, do you know that boy?" "Well kind of, we talk much, but I can sense that he is not normal." Celia responded. "What do you mean he is not normal?" As her mother was getting more interested. Celia responded with a questionable look, "Well issei is not a virgin if I'm not wrong. Also he has a scent of two girls next to him. If not possible his lust for both of them." Celia's mother concentrated her power to feel issei's desires. She was shocked that her daughter was right. He was not a virgin though age at 7 and he even has a lot of lust. She wondered if those two girls were the cause of it, but if they forced him he would be scared. As she was in her thoughts, she saw the woman expression change normal to a blush as the same for the girl. She began to wonder the sudden expression. Issei had his hands on his wife's ass and he was rubbing them. Yusaka had a red face that her husband was daring. She wondered what he'd done with her daughter. She couldn't help but feel embarrassed. Issei was acting normal like he was know nothing what is going on. Kunu has a red face and she was troubled to stop herself from jumping on issei and make out with him. Yusaka was on the same boat as Kunu. She felt her private was getting wet. After lunch they were on the hallways walking around. Yusaka and Kunu couldn't keep their eyes off of issei. They had mouths bit drooling. Issei spoke, "There been news lately Yusaka." "Yeah I seen it. News report says there is a single beautiful woman wander in the night. If she finds a man alone, she'll suck him dry leaving them state of a zombie. Many women wouldn't let their man go out to the dark. Issei I know well that Kunu and I are going to drain your energy." She spoke a smirk. Issei spoke, "You can't really, I'm a dragon. I think a dragon has a ton energy." Kunu and Yusaka had their eyes with hearts on them. Then Issei hugs his wife's waists. Yusaka spoke, "Issei you really love our bodies." Issei places his head under Yusaka's breasts. Yusaka giggled and Kunu had pouting face. Issei spoke to Kanu still hugging Yusaka, "Kunu I love you. Your mom needs some attention because she hasn't around as much time as you. It's not fair for your mother." Kunu's face softened, she knows that her mother didn't spend much time with Issei. Kunu spoke, "Okay, but you owe me a kiss." Kunu got closer to Issei and Issei turns to Kunu and kissed her passionately. Kunu broke the kiss and with a blush on her face. Issei stood hugging his wives feel their skin. He may be the most lustful dragon to ever exist. He didn't care because they love him dearly. Then Issei broke the hug and went to class with his wives. He entered his class and sat on his chair. He saw his parents were at him with a smile. He saw his baby sister being held by his mother. Lily was sleeping calmly in her mother's arms. As Issei's stepfather was now staring at Yusaka and Issei didn't like it, he started to glare at him again. After school the kids and parents went out of school. Celia and her mother left early. Issei's parents left quickly as Issei was behind his wives, then he decided to spank them. There was a loud smack Yusaka and Kunu tried hard not to moan. Yusaka whispered, "Please more." Issei was about to follow his wife's order but stopped himself not wanting to be caught. Issei whispered back, "Wait until tonight." Kunu and Yusaka faces turns red and began to sway their hips as they were walking back home. Issei simply stared their backs. Plus, he grins that he'll have fun until he is satisfied. Issei walked home getting himself ready to leave for Yusaka home. A young boy was walking to a shrine. Issei entered his wife home. Issei spoke, "I'm back baes." Then Kunu and Yusaka came to greet their husband. They hugged him tightly. Kunu spoke, "Welcome back Issei." Yusaka asked, "Are you hungry?" "Yeah but not just hungry also hungry for you." Issei spoke with a grin. Kunu and Yusaka had their faces red. They took Issei to the dining table. Issei was eating his food with his wives. Yusaka was drinking her wine as Kunu had her body over Issei. Issei felt like an emperor like everything is in his hand. Issei stopped himself from the ego. Yusaka spoke, "Hey Issei there is spring build behind the shrine. You want to try it out?" "Sure why not?" Issei spoke. Yusaka and Kunu had a smirk on their faces. Issei was finishing his meal in the night. As he was eating his meal he sensed that there something is waiting for him. He didn't pay much attention to it. Then Yusaka and Kunu left to their room. After he finished his food, he went to grab a towel and clothes. He started to head to the spring what Yusaka spoke about. Once he reached the spring it was larger than he imagined. It was 50 feet in diameter which was made in a circle. Issei estimates it could fit up to 20 people or more. Then he took off his clothes and entered the spring. He sat on a flat rock in the water. He felt the water temperature was nice and the smell of spring was like pure. Steam was coming out of the water which gave vibe it as luxurious. As he rested his body was at ease. His muscles relaxed like if taking a good break from all the training. Lemon, Issei had his eyes closed enjoying the feeling the bath. He didn't notice that two people were coming in. Then he heard water splashing near him. He opened his eyes and saw Yusaka with her naked body. Her breasts were like floating on the water. Yusaka crawls towards Issei while swaying her hips. Then Issei a body hugging by behind. He felt the warm and soft skin. It was Kunu hugging him naked. Kunu spoke to Issei ear, should I pamper you with my love? Yeah. Issei responded. Then Yusaka spoke, I'm here too. Yusaka got in front of Issei just mere inches before their body touch each other. Issei looks at Yusaka large breasts. His cheeks turns red. He felt like having a nose blood but stop at not wanting to ruin the moment. Then Kunu spoke, I'm getting in. Issei made some space behind him and Kunu was sitting behind him in the water. She placed her hands one on his chest and the other one his abs. Yusaka spoke, Issei this is one of my fantasies. Then Yusaka made direct kiss with Issei, then she pressed her body against Issei. Kunu began to kiss Issei's neck. Issei placed his hands around Yusaka's waist. They began to intensify their kiss and body movements, trying to be as one. Issei was in heaven feeling their warm bodies and the warm water was adding effect. Yusaka made herself to sit on Issei's lap while kissing. Yusaka legs wrapped around Issei's back. While their kiss Yusaka felt Issei member under pussy. Then she broke the kiss and gave Issei to breathe. You'll also like YOLO, Boix Boy 6.8 M304K. Completed, YOLO stands for You Only Live Once. Carter Jones, the school nerd, and Killian Henderson, the reputed troublemaker, somehow end up getting detented. The XD with a twist 689K 14K. When Issei was slaughtered by his girlfriend instead of Ria's appearing, Lucifer appears. You see, the magic circle that Ria's gave was mistaken for the one that Lucifer. Innocent and IGHTMARE 18 plus 6.8 M133K. Warning read the before you read mature content 18 plus mature rated trigger warnings included please do not report Bella is a high school senior who is forced to live. Superscript 3 on hold 629K 11.6K. Ikdigs by IHWDTNDJ Ikdigs ECDN IGVX Hijna CZH. 7 When Lyle Carver returns to his hometown for tea. Right Hook, Gaslight Series 1M55.9K. When rich girl Alyssa grows tired of the high life, she joins a boxing gym for delinquents, where she must fight her feelings for one of the members or risk ruining her. Arkan Seal Rewriting 3.8 M113K. Rewriting featured RRRRR, my pickup lines are great. Yeah, and I have a pet llama. You do know, idiot. RRRRR, Arkan. John Arcbeacon's betrayed gamer 41.6K 684. Another John betrayed Fic, but John will get the power of the gamer disclaimer I own nothing but story. Isaka spoke seductively, Issei I feel your dick asking me to put in. Please I need it. Issei spoke. Then Yusaka positioned herself on Issei member and went inside. Yusaka spoke, ah. It feels good as always. Now I'm to move. After that it would be Kunu turn. Kunu spoke, agreed mother. Now Issei enjoy my mother pussy. Make her scream your name. Alright Kunu. Issei spoke. Yusaka began to move up and down. Issei felt her breasts bouncing on his chest. Oh yes. I can't stop myself. Yusaka spoke while moaning. Then Issei decided to suck his wife's breast like a baby. Yusaka was feeling better. Ah Issei. You making me feel good. Yusaka spoke. Issei decided to heat things up. He began move his hips in Yusaka. Oh my. Issei make me scream. Yusaka spoke with excitement. Alright I'll make you wish to have more pounding in you. Issei spoke with a grin. Issei began move his hips faster and harder. Yusaka had her tongue out with her eyes rolled up to her head. After a few minutes Issei spoke, cooming. Then Issei came inside of Yusaka and Yusaka screamed, oh yes. Issei. Then Yusaka howled in pleasure, then fell on Issei's chest. Kunu spoke, now my turn Issei. Issei made Yusaka sit behind while started his back with heavy lust. Kunu made her position on Issei member still hard as earlier. Issei forced Kunu down taking up his member. Kunu howled but enjoyed being roughed. Kunu began to move same her mother. Yusaka had Issei head between her large breasts. Oh yes. Issei. I want you to pound me. Kunu spoke. Issei followed her orders and began to move hips. Kunu had her face of lust and pleasure. After minutes passed Issei spoke, cooming again. Kanu kissed Issei aggressively. Then Issei came inside of Kunu. Kunu muffles in pleasure. Kunu fell on Issei's chest feeling satisfied for the moment. Then Yusaka regained her energy and was ready for another round with Issei. Yusaka gets up and moves her daughter aside. Then she lays her body in the water leaving her head out. She began move her ass up to issei. She spoke, another round issei. Issei member hardened quickly, then he top of Yusaka. Issei inserted his member in Yusaka. Yusaka began to moan loudly as Issei began to pound her from behind. Issei grabs Yusaka breasts and began massage them. Yusaka spoke, use me, I'm your whore. Punish me. Then Issei stands up with Yusaka. Issei uses his hand and began to spank her hard. Yusaka felt handprints being formed on her ass. She loved to be punished by issei. Yusaka spoke, my mind blank. All I can think is hex. 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 Hex with issei every second. After minutes passed, Yusaka ass was covered with issei handprints on both sides. Issei spoke, I'm coming. Then Yusaka felt warm being poured inside her and moaned loudly. Yusaka fell on issei, which he held her. He took his wives, lay them down. Kunu and Yusaka were drowned in hex. They wanted more though they can't move. Issei gave them the pleasure still being paralyzed. Kanu and Yusaka couldn't ask more being pounded though their bodies were weak. After a few hours, Yusaka and Kanu had their pussies leaking out semen of Issei. Issei thought he overdid it. His wives were so weak they couldn't talk properly. He knew they loved it so much. Issei took his wives to their bedroom. He let them rest after having their fun. End of lemon. Issei was walking back home in the night. He was crossing a street, then saw two people in front him. It was woman and girl. The woman with devilish smile, look what we have here. A boy alone in the dark. Issei was standing in front of the two people. Issei spoke, what you want? Who are you? Then the woman spread out her bat wings and her tail with heart shaped at the end. The woman responded, I'm a succubus. I'm here to taste your semen. Make you feel so good that you wished me be too only yours. Issei got himself in a fighting stance. He wouldn't let a succubus take his seed by force. Oh, come on, don't try to fight it. The woman spoke as she was getting closer to Issei. Then a light appeared on the woman. She had very busty figure that were about the same size as Yusaka bust. He looks at succubus, which something tick on his mind. She looks familiar to the mother Celia. The difference is her facial expression was more dark side. She had purple eyes with black hair with purple streak on her front hair. She light tan skin and her skin so smooth like if it was treasure that never been touched. She had purple lips which was makeup. Issei to admit that she was very beautiful, plus she can sway to her hips. Issei had his mind in fighting. The succubus uses a magic on Issei trying making him paralyzed. Issei pretended that he couldn't move and laid yo the ground. The woman spoke, Celia, time for become a true succubus like your mother. Then the girl approached. It was Celia herself, then her bat wings and tail appeared. The succubus spoke, my is name Esha and this my daughter Celia. Though you won't remember us after our fun. Issei now know their true nature. They are like devils but not actual devil from the faction. Issei chuckled and spoke, I see now. I wondered why Celia was like devil. Esha and Celia were shocked that human could detect them as supernatural. Esha was getting ready to attack. Issei gets up from spell placed on him. He spoke, oh yeah. I forgot you can see me as a human. Then Esha charged at Issei with a ball of magic. If a human knew that they are succubus they would be killed. She forgot that Issei had lust for the Yakai royal family. Issei effortlessly grabbed her hand and pushed her back, sent her flying back. Issei thought himself, how come they are so weak? Esha lands to her feet and looks at Issei. Celia began to worry for her mother. Though he was like a human there was hidden secret in him. Esha spoke, wow, you're strong. How you'll handle this? Then Esha let out her seductive power that any man would be controlled. Issei was confused but he sensed his lust was turning against him. Issei had a strong mind which not let his mind be controlled by lust. His will was to defend himself. Esha was shocked that Issei still resisted by her lust power. She decided to directly attract him. She charged at Issei, then claws formed at her nails. Issei dodged to the side but he saw another swing at him. He kept moving. He saw the Esha giving everything she got. Esha spoke to her daughter, get out of here, I'll buy you time to get away. Issei spoke, oh please. Scared of a kid. Esha started to get furious, the remark of a 7-year-old kid. Then Issei getting fed up with this fight. He grabbed Esha's arm and flipped her to the ground. Esha felt the pain but tried to fight back. Issei grabs her hand and began squeezing them. Esha spoke, ow. Ow. My hands. Issei spoke, I'm just going easy on you. Esha's eyes widened that a kid was strong enough to hurt an adult. Then Issei let her hands go, then he started to walk away. Esha was dumbfounded that the kid actually kept her alive. A normal human would kill her. Celia approached. Her mother was also in shock. Her classmate was very strong and agile. Esha spoke, why you spared me? Issei stopped on his tracks and responded, why should I kill you? I can see regrets in your eyes. Plus you are beautiful. By the way Celia, I still consider you as a friend. But that Issei left to his home. Celia and her mother were in awe. He kid was able to defeat her. Issei spoke, I guess we are not alone. The succubus were confused, then they saw figures coming out of the darkness. Issei knew what they were and they are devils more or less of strays. He noticed the strays were after the succubus. Issei spoke, "Oh hey." One of the strays spoke, "Aren't you to be scared?" "No. I've been wonder if we can take a picture." Issei asked. "You're funny when you going to die." "Sure as you last request." Issei approached the stray and stood beside him and took several selfies. As he took the last selfie, the stray took his weapon and tried to stab Issei. Issei simply knocked his hand out and punched him in the face. The stray hit a tree and was knocked out. The strays began to attack. Issei went in front of the succubus. He began to fight off the strays with a single hand as his other hand with his phone taking selfies. With every hit Issei took a selfie. More like Issei was enjoying the fun. Then Issei made a ball of energy and blasted at the group as he took another selfie. Strays were being humiliated that a boy was destroying plus taking selfies. Issei would kill them one by one until no one was left. The last stray was at the mercy of Issei. Issei was literally choking the stray with his arm while taking a selfie. Issei decided to end it with single hand broke the stray neck with a loud crack. Issei spoke, "At least I had something to fight." Issei looks at succubus which were in shock. Celia asks, "Who are you?" "Oh. I'm a dragon." Issei responded nonchalantly. Their brain were fried. They heard a dragon living in the city but never thought it was boy. Issei spoke, "Go home before other leaders come to investigate." Celia and Esha left to their home as Issei did the same. After a few minutes magic circles appeared in the scene. One leader spoke, "What happened?" The other spoke, "A fight happened. I think these strays we've been searching for." Then another leader spoke, "Strays. It could be the dragon who killed them since it lives here. By the way, where is Yusaka?" The leaders were now have questions about Yusaka. When an event happens Yusaka always appear. One of the leaders spoke, "True. But earlier I heard howls in the night of pleasure. I don't know if I'm crazy she being with her husband doing the deed." The leaders were quiet and didn't say a word. They cleaned the mess and left. As Esha and Celia were back home. Esha spoke, "I need to talk to him." Celia looks at her mother and spoke, "Yeah, but he said you have regrets." "What is it?" Esha was quiet and didn't respond. Then her face turns red. Celia noticed the expression. Celia spoke, "I think you like him." Esha looks at her daughter and asks, "Do you?" Celia face turns beet red and Esha noticed her daughter reaction. Celia and Esha began to think to outmatch the other. They wanted Issei as their potential partner. Isaka and Kunu felt chills on their spines in their sleep. They thought they won't be the only ones to want to be with Issei. As Issei was in bed sleeping felt excitement that something was coming up. He wondered how it works out. The next day Issei was walking back to school while he had his arm around Kunu's waist. Kunu had her face red and wasn't able to comprehend much around her surroundings. She had secession with Issei early in the morning. Issei could only think he overdid it. Yusaka would be laying in bed like being paralyzed. Issei was making sure that Kunu is turning back to reality. Some people that passed by would look at them confused what happened to the girl. When they got to school Kunu was half conscious. Many classmates wonder what happened to Kunu like she had fever or something. Issei sat on his seat then pulled out his homework and began to check his answers. As he was checking then he saw Celia turns to him. Celia spoke, "Can I talk to you?" Issei turns his attention to Celia and responded, "Yeah." "Well, what is your relationship with the yokai? Especially with Kunu and her mother?" Issei responded, "They are my family." "In what way?" Celia asked with curiosity. Well, as Issei was having trouble to explain he wasn't sure to reveal their relationship. Then Kunu came over to Issei's desk and she hugged Issei's neck. Kunu spoke, "He is my husband." Celia looks at Issei for confirmation which Issei nodded at her. Celia looks at Kunu with jealously. Celia spoke, "Kunu, don't get in my way what I want." "Oh yeah I do." Kunu spoke. The Kunu and Celia were sending each other glare that sparks of lightning forming. Celia knew that dragons can have several lovers with that information once stop. Issei felt tension growing between them. Issei spoke, "Calm down." They both spoke, "No. This is between me and her." His dragon side was laughing at the situation that girls began to fight over him. During school Celia would try to be with Issei, but Kunu would send her glares not to get close to her husband. Issei thought to himself Celia was pretty but also challenged Kunu's beauty. After school Issei was walking with two girls. During their walk they met Esha and Yusaka sending glares at each other. Issei wondered why they are getting feisty. Issei asked, "What going on?" Esha responded, "Oh, we were having a normal talk, then she started to be mad at when I mentioned to talk to you." Yusaka spoke, "No, you are the one who brought it up." Issei could sigh that women are fighting over him. Then they split up with their plans to outmatch the other as they went back home. After a few hours Issei was walking on the street then was met up with Esha and Celia. He was heading to Yusaka home. Esha spoke, "Can I talk to you?" Issei nodded then Esha started speaking, "How you can see my memories. I can't see them, but I sense it. When we met your eyes were filled with pain and regret. Mind telling me?" Issei spoke. Esha responded with her head down, "I was being hunted down by the church. Few times I was close to death. All I want for my daughter is to be safe. I heard a dragon lived here. I thought my daughter and I would be safe. I only drained the men as revenge for what happened. Issei asked, what was your body count? 1. Esha responded. Issei was shocked by the number. He thought Esha had over hundreds. It was my husband, but he was killed by the church when I was pregnant. When they found out my true nature. I'm not like the others. I only do it who I care for. He wished me to find another man who can love me again. Esha explained. 3. Issei felt sorry for Esha and Celia because they were constant danger. Celia never knew her father. Issei spoke, sorry for your loss. I know it's hard. Celia spoke, thank you Issei. For protecting us last night. The moment you hold back from hurting my mom. I noticed that you are a good guy. My heart started beating for you. Issei was shocked that Celia confessed her feelings for him though they met like a month ago. Then Esha spoke, I want my express my feelings to you. Celia told me about you when you were friendly with her. You are a good dragon. I love you. Issei was more shocked that another mother and daughter confessed their feelings to him. He wondered how much luck he has with women. Issei spoke, I understand, but you need to talk with my wives about it. Esha and Celia agreed and followed Issei. After minutes Issei entered his wife home. He spoke, I have guests. Kunu and Yusaka came out and saw the girls. They had jealousy in their faces. Esha spoke, we need to talk. Then the two were sitting across each other. Yusaka asked, okay. Tell me. I'm here to ask you if I can have relationship with Issei. Esha spoke. Celia spoke, me too. We don't mind being second. Then Kunu and Yusaka looks at Issei. Issei spoke, even you say yes. I'll still love you the same as always. Then Kunu spoke, I don't mind. I was scared that Issei stopped loving us. Same here, don't mind sharing him. Yusaka spoke. Esha and Celia looks at Issei for his response. Issei spoke, I love to have relationship with you too. You are beautiful. After learning about you I know you have good intentions. Esha and Celia smiled and jumped on Issei. They spoke, thank you for giving a chance. Yusaka and Kunu smiled that Issei got more girls in his harem. It was going to be fun with more people. Plus, then Celia and Esha gave a kiss on Issei's lips. He gave a kiss back to show his affection for them. The next few days Issei was walking to school with two girls hugging his arms. Celia spoke, Issei, why you always wear that bracelet? Issei responded, my dad had me wearing this since I remember. I promised him to never take it off. As a dragon I feel like it, a promise I won't break. Celia nodded at his answer and continued speaking, many girls you are having in a harem? Well, I don't know. As long you agree. Issei responded. Kunu was barely conscious with a red race when walking. Celia had a curious look at Kunu. Celia asks, what you did with Kunu? Let's say I overdid it. Issei responded with a blush. Celia just simply blushed at his answer and some reason she started to get excited. During school Celia and Kunu are close to Issei, not wanting to be alone. Many teachers thinks that the girls has a crush on Issei. When recess came they went to their hideout. He had Celia sit on one lap and Kunu on the another. They were kissing Issei, taking turns. Celia never thought being with Issei was good. She can say that Issei is a good kisser. Her nature was telling her to take him. She holds herself back waiting for the moment. After school Issei went to stop by to his house. Emilia was always ignoring Issei and bad-mouthing him. Issei could only laughing by the inside. He always say hello to his sister Lily. Then he walks to his wife home. Once reaching his destination he sensed his girlfriends were there too. He wondered what they are up to. He spoke, I'm back. The four girls ran up to him and tackled him to the ground. Always he would have dinner with them. As they were having dinner. The girls were giggling and Issei was confused why. After eating dinner Kunu holds Issei's hand, spoke with a red face, Issei, you know what we do every night. Right. Issei smiled and responded, yeah. Then Yusaka spoke as she was revealing her large cleavage under her kimono, well tonight you'll have more company. Yusaka got close to Issei and made him look at his girlfriends. Issei's eyes turned emerald green. Celia and Esha felt excitement in their bodies. Then they took Issei to the bedroom. Lemon, plus, Yusaka spoke, Kunu and I will be on support, as for your girlfriends we'll do the main event. Then she gave seductive smile. They took Issei clothes off and he let out his tail and wings out. Celia and Esha were shocked. Esha spoke, Red Dragon Emperor. Issei frowns and spoke, no I'm not. Even I'm not drag. I'm just a dragon. Esha spoke, doesn't matter what dragon are you. I'll still be with you. Issei's mood lit up and Esha got her knees, began to kiss him passionately. She was a natural at this. Issei thought himself she is a succubus after all. Kunu and Yusaka began to kiss his neck, leaving him with hickeys. Issei felt a lot better than before. As Celia began to kiss Issei's chest, they let their nature form to take. The girls took off their clothes. Yusaka and Kunu had tails and ears out. As Celia and Esha had horns and tail out. Esha spoke seductively, let's add more spice. Esha used her powers of lust and Issei was more aroused than ever. Then Celia decided to take Issei boxers off. His member hit Celia's face which she giggled. Celia spoke, never seen a large member up close. Esha got close to her daughter and began to smell Issei member. Esha spoke, wow. The scent is strong. Probably I'll never stop thinking of this. Isaka and Kunu began use their bodies to heat Issei body. Esha spoke, Celia let me show how a real succubus do a blowjob. Esha put Issei member in her mouth and began bob back and forth. Then she swirl her tongue on Issei member. Issei would groan in pleasure. Then Esha started using her large breasts on Issei member adding more pleasure. Issei spoke, this is good. After a few minutes Issei, coming. Esha started to move faster, then felt warm liquid flowing in her mouth. She started drinking but is was flowing more than she can swallow. She started to gag as some were spilling to her large breasts. After a minute Esha pulls out her mouth. She spoke, so much. Then I'll clean him up. Celia spoke. Celia put Issei member in her mouth without hesitation. She began slurping Issei's semen. Then she felt a hand pushing her head farther. Celia saw it was her mother. Esha spoke, yeah just like that. You are a succubus as your mother. Celia giggled and continued to suck Issei member. Booming. Issei spoke. Then Celia felt warm liquid coming to her mouth. She began swallow it but began to choke on it since it was too much for her. Some came out of her mouth. After a minute she pulled out. She was surprised that Issei was still hard as before. Yusaka and Kunu giggled that they going to be broken. Isaka spoke seductively, Issei time to claim what is yours. Issei spoke dominating voice, get up. Esha and Celia stood up with excitement. Issei first took his wives on his shoulders, then took his girlfriends by his arms. Then he threw them lightly to the bed. He began to kiss his girlfriends then his wives. He began massage Yusaka and Esha large breasts. Esha spoke, ah. Yusaka your husband is good. Yeah. Ah. Wait until you are in him. Yusaka spoke. Then he moved to Celia and Kunu began to kiss their bodies. Celia was enjoying being praised by her body. After kissing them, Issei made Esha on a doggy-style position. Issei spoke, ready? Esha spoke, yes. Take this bitch. Issei inserted inside of Esha and Esha yelped in pleasure. Issei began to pick the pace. Esha spoke, oh. Yay. Esha began to move her ass, then felt a sharp slap on her ass. Esha yelped and giggled. Issei knew she liked it as Yusaka being spanked. After a few minutes Esha's ass was covered with handprints. Then Issei came inside of her and Esha felt her womb was filling up quickly. Then Esha fell on bed feeling broken. Celia spoke, my turn. Issei took Celia to a cowgirl position. Celia inserted his member in her pussy. She felt bit pain at first then felt pleasure. She began to ride him never in her life felt so good. After a few minutes Issei came inside her. Celia screamed in pleasure and fell on Issei's chest. Kunu and Yusaka grins and spoke, don't forget about us. Issei smiled, then took Kunu and Yusaka and began to pound them. After half an hour his girls were laying in bed paralyzed. Issei was planning to go home but was stopped by his girls. Yusaka spoke with her tongue out, don't go yet. I want you to break us so much that we can't move tomorrow whole day. Esha and spoke, take me and Celia as your wives. Kunu spoke, yeah. Keep pounding us though we can't feel our bodies. Issei grins and spoke, alright. Issei got back to his girls. He laid on the bed as the girl got on top of him. Yusaka and Esha began to use their breasts on Issei member making double tit job. Issei was eating out Kunu and Celia at the same time as they were sitting on his face. He came several times still he is not done. He pounded them several times in different positions. Kunu, Celia, Yusaka and Esha were covered with his semen from their head to their feet. He continued pounding them though they can't think anything but hex. The girls had their tongues out tasting his semen. Issei really broke them and they can't move at all. Esha was bliss a 7-year-old kid was able to break her. She wanted more and being dominated by Issei. End of lemon. Issei looks at his girls and he grins. Then he left for home feeling relief. He wondered how much he can handle. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video.